evening. Today we are having a very interesting discussion about management. Let me introduce the honorable guests who are here. On my left, first we have Professor Dipankar Khashnavish, and then further on to my left I have with me Dr. Prithvish Bose. Instead of me telling them about them, why don't they tell about themselves? Professor Dipankar Khashnavish, about you, please.
Thank you, Mr. Professor Mitra. My name is Dipankar Khashnavish. I am the director of the School of Management at Adamas University. I do play couple of other roles rather. I am an advisor to the chairman and the chancellor of the group. I am the member of the board of governance. I also overlook some of the smaller entities which the organization is having, especially in the area of education technology. I have joined Adamas University a little over 10 months before. I did my engineering from IIT Kharagpur and I did my MBA from IIM Bangalore. Post that, I had worked for over 25 years in multiple organizations, largely in India, but for some time outside India. My last organization was Infosys in Bangalore. I joined here with a view of integrating academics with industry, and so far really enjoying my journey. I look forward to connecting with you over the next 1 hour, take some of the questions, apart from answering some of the questions which will be raised in the panel itself. Thank you.
That's very interesting. Now we ask Dr. Bose to tell about himself. Dr. Bose.
Good evening everybody. My name is Prithvish Bose. I am an engineer from IIT Dhanbad and I did my managerial course, Masters of Business Management from Accelerate Jamshedpur, to which I went back after another 28 years of working in the industry to complete my doctoral qualifications. For this 28 years I have worked in various industries and I worked in almost all the locations in India, and I have the experience of working for many of the large Indian groups like Tatas and the Godrejas. I have also worked for MNCs. My last company was a Japanese MNC, and after which I went back to do my PhD, and then I joined academics. And it is going to, I think, be a very good, interesting next half an hour, 45 minutes for us to discuss about management. Thank you.
Thank you. My first question, gentlemen, to both of you, anyone, let's say, today MBA, is it just a fad or is it a wonderful tool of employability? What do you think about it from the industry point of view and also from the education point of view? First, I'd like to ask you, Professor Khashnavish, the industry needs MBA. What do you think about it?
Well, MBA is a Masters of Business Administration. Masters is of course a postgraduate course. We also offer another undergraduate course which is a Bachelor of Business Administration, and my answer will be straddling both the BBA and MBA program. On a day-to-day basis, if you look at all the time, we are managing situations where there is a challenge and there are limited resources and we are finding a solution. For example, if you get up in the morning, you have to go somewhere and you suddenly find that there is no public transport available. You have to figure out how you have to reach the destination because you have a commitment to reach. You have certain constraints like, you have to reach within a certain time. You have constraint that, certain modes of travel is not available. You have to look at something which is available but which is also within the budget you have, and you also have to make sure that you reach safely your destination. And this is nothing, just a simple example of a problem which is in front of you. You have certain constraints and you have a problem solving mindset to overcome the situation. Now, if you expand it say 10 times or 100 times and look at any organization, it can be a corporate, it can be a institution, it can be an organization, it can be a football club, even it can be a country, you will have the same ecosystem playing there. It is constantly there are limited resources and you have challenges coming in and you have to find a solution. Now, when I talk from the perspective of a corporate is essentially looking at people, not necessarily who are extremely good in one particular area. Of course, there are functions in the corporate which that requirement is there. For example, if somebody is making drugs, they would like to have people who understand drug discovery very well. But large part of corporate is essentially operating in an environment where they have some limited resource in terms of intellectual capital, in terms of people, in terms of money, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of physical assets. And they have to deliver certain products or services to their customers within a limited time,
right.
within a limited budget, within with the accepted quality, and they have
Exactly.
to grow themselves. And they are constantly looking for people who can look at these situations from a multi-dimensional basis, which can be from people aspect, from the finance aspect, from the manufacturing aspect, from the material aspect, from the legal or compliance aspect. And I wanted to give this preamble just to make you give a sense what management essentially teaches. Management essentially teaches from the business perspective, because we are talking of MBA, how to manage a business situation where there are limited resources and you have to achieve a particular goal within a limited time with acceptable quality and with acceptable price. So, anytime you have to run an organization which is of reasonable size, you need quite a significant number of people who will be bringing this capability to make it smoothly operational.
Thank you. Dr. Bose, having understood from Professor Kashnabis about this particular requirement, at Adamus School of Management, how does this, your entire pedagogy and the syllabus, gear up to this particular requirement of what? Can you tell us a little bit about what is Adamus School of Management?
Taking off from the discussion that we just had, where I think Professor Kashnabis gave a very comprehensive description of what is required in the field of management, and many of these, as people realize over a period of time, can be taught or imbibed into students. So, there is a science of management, there is an art of management, and it is possible to teach that. At Adamus, we look at three things. One, of course, to make sure that as the industry changes, as technology changes, the job of the manager also changes, impacted by all these new things happening around him. So, the pedagogy or the curricula has to be updated regularly, and that is one of the things we focus on in the area of management for Adamus University, where we constantly upgrade curricula to reflect the requirements of the industry. That is one. Secondly, as we said, it is a ultimately a job which is which requires certain skills, and the industry has to be involved in deciding what has to be taught. So, we have various ways of interacting with industries. One such way simply is to get faculty who are from the industry and who have good idea about what the industry requirements are. So, when they teach, they can bring in their industry experience and also explain to the concerned student about what exactly or how exactly it would have been used in the industry situation. Secondly, we have various well known industry experts who come in and who teach our students as adjunct faculty, or who come in as experts who give lectures and or hold seminars where the student is exposed to this industry requirement. Thirdly, we have compulsory industry internship program, where every student has to spend 6 to 8 weeks compulsorily in an industry and learn about the industry and the requirements of the industry, and try to marry it with whatever theoretical inputs he is giving in the university. And in addition, the university also has various industry visits where students are taken by their faculty to various industries, and the intricacies or what they learn in that classroom is integrated with what they see there. So, these are some of the areas in which we try to bring about industry exposure. And finally, what we also do is, in terms of management, we have certain courses that we are trying to work on, which are designed in association with the industry. So, one such course we are working on is in the area of logistics and supply chain, where a particular industry group is supporting us to create a course structure which is exactly tailored to what the industry requires. We are also working on similar courses in banking and finance, and in the future we will continue to work in this manner to bring to the area of academics what is exactly as per the requirement of industry. So, these are, to my mind, some of the unique features in the way we try to teach management at Adamus.
Thank you so much. It was so illuminating. At the end of the day, any student who comes here and the parent would have one singular question in mind: will my child get a job? And that is ultimately, we have two words, one is employability and employment. So at Adamas, at the present moment, could you enlighten us a little bit on what are the, let's say India is a little bit going through let's say a kind of recessionist factor. But in this area, they say that there are good areas which is there. So from your experience and from the track record at Adamas, could you tell us some of the areas which are good areas of employment, etc., etc., and exactly where have Adamas been able to put its students successfully in those areas, and around what is the expectation in terms of salaries, you know? Could you tell us a little bit about it?
So let me start off with by saying that yes, we have been very fortunate so far that all our students actually have been placed. So even this year's MBA batch, barring 4, the rest are already placed, and that is because we get a lot of support from the career development center which we have at Adamas, which ensures that everybody not only gets a good job, but their internships, the summer internships also are given to good companies. So people have a good chance to learn. Now having said that, obviously there are certain areas where there are more opportunities for employment and compared to the rest. So some of the things that we had just talked about, like having this course in logistics and supply chain, it came from a realization that there is a lot of requirement in this area, and it is industry itself who were aware, and they wanted to come to us and design a course which is going to solve the kind of job requirements that they have. Similarly, banking and finance is another area where adequate jobs are available, but perhaps the problem with the industry is that they do not have the right kind of graduates who are able to do the job. So at Adamas, we are trying to actually work with them to be able to give to the industry what they require. At the same time, it is a short placement for our students. So in this way, there are many other areas where we have been able to identify where students are able to get a better opportunity at placement than maybe some other institutions which have been into this particular activity.
Thank you. Professor Kashnabis, when we talk about Adamas, we say it's a knowledge city. And the second thing we talk about is that it's a 24/7 interdisciplinary campus. How does that become? Could you tell us about this 24/7 interdisciplinary campus, and how does that become a boost to any student who is joining the School of Management to do his MBA? Could you please enlighten us on that?
Sure, yeah. So 24/7. Before that, I just wanted to add 1 or 2 points to what Professor Bose has talked about. So there, while there is a focus of providing a job to each of the students who are passing out, but we also have to understand that the university is a place where we create the humans of the future.
True.
But in the process, of course, as a first step, we provide an employment opportunity. Our record for last year, whoever wanted, because a lot of students don't want jobs, they want to go for higher studies, or they may have their own businesses, or they want to start their own startups. Last year it was 100% placement. This year in the month of December, now in the last week, we have at least 4 to 5 months to go. We already have a placement of 40 to 45% of the students for the entire university, whoever is wanted to bid.
That's wonderful.
You wanted to understand the compensation. So average compensation will be anything between 5 to 5.5, and so far our highest package that we have got for this year is 5.5 lakhs per year.
Yes.
And highest package that we have received for this year is around 10 lakhs with incentives, of course. We have had certain companies like Genpact, Infosys, who have recruited students. We have HP, we have IBM, we have many other prominent names who
they're top-notch companies.
Yeah, they're top-notch companies, and they have been pretty okay. They have been taking up our students. All of them has picked up a handful of students from the campus. And many of the names which I mentioned are actually come to the campus, and now we have to understand this is not one common location where 10 universities or 10 colleges are coming. These are essentially coming to Adamas specifically to do a drive for recruitment here itself, which is very important.
True.
And that is a transition for any educational institution in their journey, where they become part of a large job fair to where they actually attract people coming directly and spending a day or two in their campus. So I just wanted to add that to what Professor Bose said. Now, so far as the 24/7 campus, so Adamas is, as you would have If you would have been exposed yourself, you will see it's a large campus, around 120 acres. It has 10 schools, 26 departments, around 65 courses. We call it interdisciplinary school because every student, based on the interest, even if they are school of management student, if they want to do a course, say in the media and communication, if somebody is interested to do some course in, say, in English literature, because of reasons
They
they
can
want to
just
focus,
move.
they can take that, and there is
Wow, that's
exchange of
great.
credit is there.
That's great.
It is also a unitary university, and that is very important because it's the only 3 unitary universities in in fact, I think apart from Jadavpur, Presidency and Shanti Niketan, or maybe Vishwavarati, we are the only one which is unitary university, means all the departments, all the schools
Are in
are in
one.
the same campus. So it's
Great.
not that you are moving between campus if you have to take another course which is from another department, right? So you can just walk across the street and enter the other building, which is another school. So even if others would say that we are interdisciplinary, it is not physically possible because you cannot crisscross between the city to go to various campuses. We have started this concept of 24/7 campus in 2 areas, which is the law, School of Law and Justice, and the School of Management. Now, I am a as I mentioned, I am a MBA graduate myself. I have been working in executive positions. Now, the reason for having a 24/7 campus is essentially to simulate the situation what happens in a typical corporate. When you are an MBA, you join. So corporates, as you all know, are usually driven by numbers. They are usually driven by goals and very quick turnaround time. Corporates are not always looking for the perfect solution, but most of the time it has to get a solution in a time-bound fashion. So instead of doing a pedagogy where everybody is coming to class, taking notes and going back and writing exam, we wanted to create an environment where, as close as possible, we build this, the core philosophy which I talked about in my previously, that you have to have a problem solving mindset of limited resources, which can be time, which can
True.
be resource, which can be information, and quickly find a solution which is workable, right?
True.
So we have sort of structured our MBA school around 40 to 45% is the class, around 20 to 25% is projects, where people come together in the evening and work together, make a
You mean after
presentation.
class hours?
Yes, that is
Oh, that's
expected
very
because
interesting.
you'll be, because you have classes all through the day. If you
True.
have a group of 4 or 5,
Huh.
you are expected to stay back and do it because
Correct.
you have to do it because there is no other time, and it is
True.
not just a project. You have to get some data, you have to put the graphs, you may have to create something which is physically visible, which is touch and feel, then you have to obviously present it in a nice
true, true,
format,
true.
make the reports, make a presentation.
True.
And another 10 to 15% time is in the case study, and another 5 to 10% time is the industry interaction, which can
True.
be in terms of your summers or people coming and visiting, guest lecture, and all of it. So we felt that if we want to create a corporate environment where your manager or boss might say in the evening that tomorrow morning 8 o'clock I have a meeting, you better get ready with this. You cannot say sorry, I am going home and then I will come back and do it. You have to essentially make it happen in the evening within the resources what you have.
Nice.
And that is exactly we wanted to achieve, so that tomorrow when they go to industry, see, my take on industry is that people are not really looking for very high level of knowledge when you join. They essentially look for 3 or 4 things. One is your interpersonal skill, communication skill, ability to work in a team, and getting things done. And this is exactly which we are trying to build, so that they are ready from the industry. Of course, industry will teach them what they need to learn as they join. That is always the case.
So, Dr. Bose, coming to you, the point is there is a general concept that unless you have a BCom behind you or some commerce behind you, you cannot do an MBA. Or rather, let's say you are at a disadvantage if you are moving from other streams. So, is it true like that? Does a person necessarily have to come from a BCom background?
No, sir, I'd rather say that it is not very BCom is not the most common background that people have who come and join the MBA program. People come from various backgrounds. They come from commerce background, they come from engineering background, they even come from arts background. And one of the objectives of any industry or corporate also would be to have a diverse background, because then
Right.
it helps people that you don't have fall prey to what they call group think. So everybody thinks exactly in the same way.
Correct.
You need to have diversity of thoughts, opinions, or way of doing things, and we encourage that in the MBA program. And perhaps one of the reasons people think is that with a commerce background, it's easier to understand some of the concepts of management. It is, but people who are specifically oriented towards going to finance may prefer to have a BCom background before they join an MBA, and because it helps them, good knowledge of accounting and etc. commercial law will help them to when they do their specialization in finance. But management is much more than finance. We have so many areas of specialization. We ourselves offer areas of specialization in finance, in OB and HR, in marketing.
True.
We offer specialization in entrepreneurship.
Correct.
Then we have the specialized courses in logistics and supply chain. And new areas like data analytics coming up. So it's much more than
So somebody doing BSc also could move in beautifully.
Move in beautifully.
Beautifully, very blend in beautifully.
Absolutely, and there's some people who have done economics. In fact,
Yeah,
they
exactly.
have done well. One of my classmates who was from economics background, he was the gold medalist in economics when he did an MBA with us. He is one of the he is actually the chairman of Exim Bank today.
Okay.
So many people from various backgrounds, and all of them have done well. So it's very important, I think, to have more diversity and rather not focus on what is the concept, because all these will be useful in the area of management.
And I think there can also be an intermixing of all these various streams when they come into it. So just taking it from one point, that suppose somebody is from, let's say, the arts background, would, when he or she joins the School of Management to do his MBA, do you kind of give him or her a brush up initially so that the person kind of feels that now I'm at par, kind of thing like that?
We do that. In fact, we have these courses, additional classes running into the evening. This is part of the 24/7 also, you can say.
Okay.
Where we have special classes for accounting, we have special classes for economics, we have special classes for maths, etc. So people come from various backgrounds. Someone's weak in maths but maybe strong in accounting, or some could be weak in English but strong in other areas. So these basic courses, we have some additional classes which are the tutorial classes sort of, so that we can catch up with the rest of the class.
Very interesting. And what Professor Khashnavis said, that one of the things in management is about how people work as a group. So would it also be like that, that when they are working together as a group, and you said somebody is good at say something and the other person is good at math, somebody is good at accounts, then they also could kind of symbiotically move in and help each other also, right?
Absolutely.
That also is
that in fact, that is what we encourage. So these people form some informal study groups of their own, and they tend to learn from each other also.
Asking about one more thing that is there. Today English is a very big requirement and lots of students have this little problem, especially those who come from vernacular backgrounds. They have this thing that I come from a vernacular background, my English is good. So do you think that English is important to be picked up while you're studying MBA? And what is Adamas doing in a way so that so-called not just English, but broadly speaking, what Professor Khashnavis said was soft skills per se, is that what does Adamas School of Management do about that?
So English is one of the requirements for the corporate sector, which we cannot run away from.
Absolutely.
May not be as important as the British era, but definitely it's a language of commerce and it is very important. So what we at Adamas do, we have specifically, we have classes in spoken English and communications, and where experts come in, the experts from the industry come in and also teach them about this communications. Then we have, as I said, we have a career development center, which also teaches them soft skills, interview skills, group discussion skills, personality development skills. So we have various areas of input. So we have inputs coming from the English department. We provide inputs from the career development center, which is more, of course, oriented towards the placement and other opportunities. And we have some other classes where we, the faculty comes in and supports them in other areas, does hand-holding, allows them, let's say, some help in terms of debating. We have these clubs now, there's a debating club, we have dramatics club. So we encourage them to participate in this manner and develop their other capabilities. And much of this is actually handled by the students themselves. We have a students' council, so it allows them to develop leadership skills.
That's very interesting.
And in fact, when we do any program, we try to involve the students, so they actually do the
and
program
delegate
with the
responsibility.
faculty.
Delegate responsibility to them also.
Correct. So they learn how to do things on their own.
Professor Kharshnavis, the old saying goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It's been there. At Adamas, curricular and extracurricular. Sir was talking a little bit about clubs and all that. Could you tell us something more about what we do to bring about the ultimate personality development of the mind, body and soul congruence, let's put it that way. So let's specifically talk about certain other activities that are done in Adamas, apart from the study functions, etc.
Yeah, so I think there are two things which I broadly covered. One is that, especially from the School of Management perspective, as I
Right.
said, that 40 to 45% of your academics is in the class.
Right.
If you look at the remaining part, whether it's a case study, whether it's a project, presentation, a lot of it is personality development, because you are interacting in a team, you are becoming leader of a team, you are coming and making a presentation, you are also developing how to present our data in terms of PPT or a document. So that is already been incorporated in the School of Management perspective. And I just want to add one point to what Professor Bose was saying, that we are not just looking at English, but we are looking at overall communication. And
Correct.
you all know the language you are speaking is only one part of the communication.
True.
It's all about, there are parts of, how confident you are, can you
True.
speak up, can you
True.
speak out, can you. So those are things which we are trying to build
And
in the
that will
class.
help them in their practical life.
Right. So we are, the teachers, even in the 40-45%, teachers are saying, today discuss this, can you, stand up and sum up, can you make a small poster and put it on the board and explain to it.
Correct.
So
Correct.
it is all about ensuring that, as in G, if you go back to G, Jack Welch G, that if you are on a table, you have a purpose, and if you have purpose, you should speak.
Correct.
You cannot come. So if you are in a class, you have to be part of the class and you have to speak. So that is what we are doing.
True.
As the other part which we talked about is the infrastructure. As you 100 acres, 120 acres means we have some of the best football or cricket ground or indoor badminton courts. In fact, Adamas ground is so good that we actually have 3 football teams which are
Okay.
below 13, below 15, below 18, which are playing in state level.
State
And,
level.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and these teams actually come and practice in our football grounds for their state level competition, and it is available to the students. We also have these clubs. We have a student council which is headed by a professor. Below that is vice president is a student, 3 general secretary, 10 secretaries, all student, and then these 15 clubs has 15 co-conveners. So the student council is ensuring that not only that the clubs are active, that there is enough time and budget for them to be active, get the forums for them to come and perform. And that is where the 24/7 model is critical, because after typical
Correct.
days that you will be only doing much of this activity in the evening, right? You will do your classes.
So, Professor, would you be saying or would you be suggesting that a residential course of MBA where the student can stay would be a much better prospect?
Absolutely. I mean, that is what I said, that 2 of the departments we have made it, though we have not been able to achieve,
Right.
but we are targeting 100% 24/7 residential campus or
Right.
close to the campus sort of model.
Correct.
That is the School of Law and Justice and School of Management, and we feel that they will be able to do, because these are the two schools specifically where interface with other people is very high. If you are in biotechnology, you may be in a lab and working with 5 people, but if you are a lawyer, or if you are in justice system, or if you are a management graduate, you have to interact with people every day.
True. True.
So that is where we have started. And the last thing is for the people who are not staying, we are also started giving a late transportation, so that
That's
if
very
some
nice.
people want to stay back a couple of hours, do some activity and then go back.
That's very, very nice. Very
So
nice.
over and above the normal transport, we are giving some vantage points in the city so that they can get dropped and go home.
Thank you.
So that's what we are doing.
Dr. Bose, today the students, young students today, they get through a lot of, they're in a little bit of a, indecision process, etc., etc. They have a lot of thoughts confusing in mind. At Adamas, do we have a kind of like a mentorship function by which these individual, they're not just a mass, but they're taken, their personal aspirations, their personal inhibitions, all these are taken into consideration, Do you have something like a mentorship function over here?
So definitely we have. In fact, what you said is very true. This is the phase during which the students are very confused. They're
Correct.
passing through a transition. They're transitioning from a child into a man or a woman, and it's a difficult time for them. And then in our situation, at least, there's a lot of pressure on them from parental pressure, peer pressure. So they go through a lot. So to help them, every single student is assigned a mentor.
Oh,
And the mentor is supposed to be responsible for the student,
Gotcha.
and we encourage the mentor to interact with the parents of the students also, and the parents are also advised to talk to the mentor if they want to know anything specifically about the students. Of course, every faculty is approachable,
Correct.
but the mentor is someone who is specifically given the responsibility to look after that student.
Okay.
And we, our mentors, are able to understand a lot of things that are normally not going to come out into a classroom situation, whether somebody
Yes.
has a personal problem
Correct.
here, or somebody has a particular aspiration, or somebody has got certain strengths which everybody does not know. So
Correct.
that helps us to bring out some of these problems, some of these opportunities or qualities. And this I think we plan to actually strengthen it. We want to put in more effort because I think the need for that is, as you said, very, very high.
very high at this stage. One small question before we think. There is this concept of specialization in MBA, and many people are a little confused about it. Specialization, dual specialization, it somehow look like technical terms, and people do not know, especially at this moment. Could you enlighten us on this particular point about this specialization function? This
Let me first talk about specialization in general. Now, specialization is when you study MBA or a BBA as a course, and we know management looks after probably is important for every kind of industry. Wherever you are there, you need to manage things. You have to get things to work. You have to manage scarce resources. You have to meet certain objectives at the least possible cost in terms of time or money. So therefore, it is all pervading. And therefore, various areas are there in which this concept of management has to be applied. Now, within that, one could be a little more proficient in one area. So what we do is we allow people to specialize in two areas. So we call it the dual specialization. That is one of the opportunities that we give. So in the second year of the course, for example, somebody wants to look at finance as a future opportunity. So he can or she can specialize in finance. At the same time, to have a broader perspective, he or she can take on marketing as a second area, or any combination. So we are offering 3 common combinations, which is marketing, OB and HR, and finance, both at the MBA and the BBA level. Now, apart from this, we are also offering a choice of specializing in entrepreneurship as one of the areas in the MBA course.
Okay.
And we have similarly in the BBA course, we have these 3 areas of dual specialization, which is finance, marketing, and HROB. And we also offering a specific specialization in the area of digital marketing, which is a area where we found there's a huge requirement, and there's a lot of interest among the students also to work in that area.
True.
And finally, apart from all that, there are certain specific areas which is relating to the industry collaboration courses, like I was talking about the course in logistics and supply chain, where the focus is absolutely on that area. So somebody joins logistics and supply chain as a specialization, so he or she will focus only on one area. There is no dual specialization.
True.
So these are currently the options that we are offering in both MBA and BBA programs.
Thank you. Professor Kharshnavich, today among the youth, there is a general thing to start their own businesses, and they say the early bird catches the worm, etc. And Sir talked about a little bit about entrepreneurship and all that. In Adamas, do we give certain inputs, opportunities, stimulations for people who would be interested in setting up their own startups, etc., etc.? Could you please tell us something about that?
Sure. So if you really look at last there are some studies are saying the maximum number of unicorns is nothing but a company whose valuation has crossed $1 billion. The maximum number of unicorns anywhere in the world which has been created in the last 10 years, possibly one of them is India, specifically Bangalore. So so obviously entrepreneurship has taken up the country in a big way. It has become the aspiration of a lot of people, and it has got the right type of social recognition also. So this is a desire among the students to be entrepreneur, to whether they want to be immediately after college or they want to work after for some time and then become, that's their personal choices, but almost all the students wants to have understanding of what it means.
True.
Okay, so so we have been having sort of a startup course as a generic course about what entrepreneurship is all about.
Okay.
We also talked about entrepreneurship as a
Right.
specialization. We are regularly bringing in industry experts as part of the course or guest lecturer, where a significant number of them are entrepreneurs themselves, and they who come and share their
Their
experiences
journey, right,
and what it has taken. We have a very vibrant entrepreneurship club. The people have developed stuff in the area of robotics,
Interesting.
integrating. We have, for example, the bunch of people have created competing robot football teams, where actually they go around and in a small board they actually play football. So those are the concepts which has been taken. Very low cost Raspberry Pi sort of core has been taken and they have been developed into robots. They may not always look like human beings, that is more in the movie, but robots, robotic club, their electronic display, their people have developed something to manage the energy consumption based on the movement of the individuals in a room. The people have developed how to get additional faculty support for students who want to catch up not the whole course but one particular portion of the course in a local area. We also have in the process of setting up a Section 8 company, an identified area within the campus where we will be setting up a small incubation center. We are looking at around 15 to 20 seats, and we look forward to some of these ideas which you talked about. We will be given some amount of seat support, maybe very nominal, and a physical support as well as the additional supports in terms
Information supports also.
and also some support like how to register a company, how to go for a GST registration, legal compliance and stuff like that. And we are in the process. Very soon it will be up and running. So I think if things go as per plan, very soon we will have a situation where 4 or 5 students will probably come together, and who knows, the next unicorn may be from here, this campus.
And on that wonderful optimistic note, who knows that the next Top Gun would be from Adamas University. This is Sajil Mitra signing out for you. Thank you so much for listening to us.